Do you think that had they've left it until the cup final, that maybe after that, had they have lost it, they would have been looking to get rid of him anyway?
Yes, but at the same time, you bring Jose Mourinho in and you say, well, we're not too bothered what the style of play is because he's a winner. He guarantees us trophies. Well, you've not given him enough time.
Yeah.
I mean, Jose's done all the hard work and his team's done all the hard work to get you to a cup final. It's ludicrous to have sacked him 6 days before the chance of actually winning the trophy. You know, wait until after the trophy. Surely Daniel Levy and the owners could have waited 6 more days.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, look, I mean, it's just happened. This is what Tottenham have had to say. The club can announce that Jose Mourinho and his coaching staff, João Sacramento, Nuno Santos, Carlos Lyon and Giovanni Serra have been relieved of their duties. And there we go. They go on to say on a personal level, I have enjoyed working with him and regret that things have not worked out as well as we both envisaged. This is, of course, from the Spurs boss, the Spurs chairman, Daniel Levy. He will always be welcome here, and we would like to thank him for his contribution and his coaching staff as well. What do you make, Don, of his time then at Tottenham? We have to remember they were top of the Premier League and they were in the title race at some point this season.
It's been turbulent. You know, I think Tottenham fans that I see, and I've got a lot of friends that are Tottenham fans, and what I read on social media is they've not been happy with the style. But Jose was never brought in for the style. You know, you bring in Guardiola and you bring in people like that if you want the style to change and you want silky football. He was brought in because he's a winner and because you look at his CV and you go, well, he guarantees us trophies if given enough time. So I understand that the conversation might have been had in either 6 days' time or the summer, but at least given the end of the season to see where Tottenham finish, they could still end up in the top 4. I don't think it'll happen. But with a good run towards the end of the season, they could finish with some sort of momentum and finish with a trophy. So I'm not surprised that he's been sacked. I'm just surprised at the timing.
It's the first club in 19 years that he hasn't won a trophy with. Do you think, had he been given that time, maybe not necessarily in the League Cup final this weekend, but he might have, if he'd had the chance, if he got the right players in, like you said, that he could have won a trophy. He's a proven winner at the end of the day.
Of course. I mean, listen, as I said before, he's done the hard work. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you're the owner, you're Tottenham Football Club, and you bring Jose Mourinho in and you say, well, the reason why we brought him in, because he will win us a trophy. And then he gets you to a final. And you don't give him the time to win it. You don't give Jose Mourinho 6 days. I do not get the logic whatsoever.
How do you think the Spurs fans will feel about this? Because, some of them were enjoying Jose, didn't really care about the performances. Others weren't so much enjoying it and wanted to go back to that football under Poch. So how do you think they'll be feeling? Do you think they'll be split?
I think they'll be split, but I think there'll be more Tottenham fans, I don't want to say relieved, but I think Tottenham fans from day one when Jose Mourinho got appointed to Tottenham, they never saw that as the right fit. I certainly didn't. I don't think anyone did. And then we saw a different side of Jose where he come in all smiling. We thought, oh, well, maybe he's learnt his lesson. Maybe he's a different man. Then he reverted back to type when the team wasn't winning. It was the team's fault. It was the 11's fault that couldn't win the games. Jose would still back himself, I'm pretty sure of that. So for Tottenham fans, I think on social media, I think they'll be happy, but all depending on the next appointment. But what they want to see good football. So depending on who comes in, it might be Nagelsmann, could be Brendan Rodgers. I think those two would probably be the standout candidates.
And look, we asked this question, didn't we, after he was sacked at Manchester United, what next for Jose Mourinho? I think even back then, no one really thought that he would get another Premier League job. Can you see him managing in the Premier League again, or does he go back to Europe and back to Italy, maybe? I
think more likely probably the Portuguese manager's job after the Euros might be his likely destination. Listen, I think Jose's an outstanding manager. I think the job that he's done, and I go all about Inter Milan, Chelsea in his first spell, Champions League winners, the players and the individuals, the men that he managed back then are different to the current day or the modern day player. I think they're a little bit softer. He can't be a motivator, which is his great strength, because the players, in my opinion, are a little bit softer than what they were when I played. So he has to try and manage in a different way and with a different attitude and try and look after the players a little bit more, should I say, but that's not really his style. Sir Alex was one of the best motivators you've ever seen, and Jose Mourinho exactly the same. So I think probably the Portuguese national job might be his destination after the Euros.
And it was being reported that Ryan Mason is going to be the one to take over from now until June, the end of the season. Do you think they've done it so that they have, that typical bounce after a manager leaves? They've got a League Cup final in 6 days. Do you think Ryan Mason could be the man that could make that happen?
He's not going to be given the time. What can Ryan Mason do in 6 days alongside Chris Powell, maybe, if he's there as well? It's one of them. If you're Ryan Mason, you take it. Of course you will, because if you win the trophy and you win it, you're a winner straight away. It's a no-lose situation. If Ryan Mason and Tottenham lose it, it's not going to be his fault. So it's a great opportunity for him to try and work with the team, which he's been doing behind the scenes. I think Ledley King also will have an impact on what's happening and a say in what the 11 might be or the squad might be. So I think for the guys that are going to take over, it's a fantastic opportunity for them.
Yeah, loads of reaction coming in. Actually, this one from Rossi on Twitter. He says 7 games for the new manager, bump up 1 cup final and 6 games. This is going to be interesting. Hashtag PL fans. And this one from Lucky, who says Jose left because he felt he was disappointed. He's disappointed the club and was too ashamed to continue. Is this decision a good one for Tottenham? Keep your thoughts coming in. Hashtag PL fans. Loads of reaction. And it's a massive day as well, isn't it? Because in other big news, that the established Big Six in the Premier League, Tottenham, one of those clubs as well, among 12 clubs to have agreed to a new European Super League.
They have indeed, and what would be a hugely significant move for European football. The ESL say AC Milan, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Juventus, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Real Madrid and, of course, Spurs have all joined up.
Yeah, and 3 more clubs expected to follow as well, to join as founding club members before the inaugural season, which is set to start as soon as possible, they say, as a new midweek competition with teams continuing to compete in their respective national leagues as well. Look, this is what the Premier League have had to say on the matter. They say that they condemn any proposal that attacks the principles of open competition and sporting merit, which are at the heart of the domestic and European football pyramid.
Yes, fans of any club in England and across Europe can currently dream that their team may climb to the top and play against the best. We believe that the concept of a European Super League would destroy this dream.
The Premier League, they go on to say, is proud to run a competitive and compelling football competition that has made it the most widely watched league in our world. Our success has enabled us to make an unrivalled financial contribution to the domestic football pyramid.
A European Super League will undermine the appeal of the whole game and have a deeply damaging impact on the immediate and future prospects of the Premier League and its member clubs and all those in football who rely on our funding and solidarity to prosper.
Yeah, just finally, we will work, they say, with fans, the FA, EFL, PFA and LMA, as well as other stakeholders at home and abroad to defend the integrity and future prospects of English football in the best interests of the game. Look, loads of reaction to this. Let me just show you a few of the back pages. This is on the back of the Daily Mail here. Football at war. English Games giants want to start European Super League next year. Furious Premier League won't sanction the move. Big Six breakaway. This is on the Times. Plot sparks outrage. Don, your reaction to this, because it's not something that's come up with overnight. There's talks, obviously, in October that this would happen. It's all being funded by JP Morgan, the Wall Street Bank, £4.6 billion apparently involved. Initial reactions to it, is it a non-starter for you?
I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't think it will. I get the way people are horrified, and rightly so. It can't happen. I don't think the Premier League will allow it to happen. I think the timing of it is absolutely horrendous. You know, in a global pandemic, some of the Premier League sides think they can break away from the Premier League and try and start some sort of Super League.
And this came, on it just because they were about to discuss, weren't they, a new sort of format to the Champions League?
That's exactly what it is, Will. That's exactly what it is. I think it's a power grab. It's money orientated. It's greed. It'll be some sort of new format to the Champions League, which if it's a new format and it's different, it might be welcome. But in terms of any sort of teams breaking away from the Premier League and impacting what will happen across all the divisions in the pyramid system, it's a joke. You know, it's horrendous. Any fans out there will be disgusted, and rightly so. And I think what we'll probably see over the next coming days is we'll see, in my opinion, a reality check from the Big Six who want to try and, or perceive to be wanting to break away. I think the fans disgust at it and the hatred of the thought of breaking away. I think the clubs will get a reality check, and I'm pretty convinced it might not be days, it might be weeks, it might be a bit longer. But in my humble opinion, I think a lot of the teams, and it'll probably start with Liverpool and Man United, they'll come out and make a statement. Borussia Dortmund have done it in the last hour, and they've said, we are not part of this. Bayern Munich are owned by 51% of fans, so they will never, ever do it unless the fans agree, which the Bayern Munich fans will never agree to. So there's 2 massive teams out of it straight away. Barcelona and Real Madrid will not join this Super League. So, you know, any league, any potential Super League that involves Liverpool and Man United, if Liverpool and Man United are gutsy enough to make a statement and say, no, we are not joining, the league ain't going to be credible. Yeah. The Super League will not be credible if Liverpool and Man United and Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich and PSG say no. No one's going to watch it, and it'll never get off the ground.
You don't think people will watch it? I mean, that is the question, isn't it? Because as much as people don't like the idea of it, there's still the intrigue that
youngsters might watch it. It might be a new format for them,
but that's what it's for, isn't it? The future generations.
No, absolutely not. Will.
Because look, Gary Neville
it's not for them at all.
Well, Gary Neville and Jamie Redknapp have had their say, and they've said that they're ashamed of their football clubs because they say it goes against everything that Manchester United and Liverpool are about. Hundreds of years of working class men and women coming together to build these empires.
Because of the history. Because of the history that these clubs and all the clubs. Listen, what makes me laugh about it is teams like Tottenham and teams like Arsenal are trying to break away when they can't even get anywhere near the top four themselves. You know, there's teams down in the Championship, there's teams down in League One and League Two that have got more trophies than Tottenham over the last, I don't know, decade. So but
they're on board for money. I mean, and that's what people are saying. It's greed. It's not for trophies. It's for the financial side of those clubs, isn't it? And the owners and Stan Kroenke.
Yeah, but what Super League will ever get off the ground if you've not got Liverpool, Man United, PSG, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund? It will never ever work. I'm convinced there's something, and it's money. There's something that they want more, and it's more money. I think when you look at what La Liga do, I think with Real Madrid and Barcelona, they get a large stake in the prize at the end of every single season. The Premier League's a lot more split, and I think that's the best way to go, where you split the money on not an equal basis, but you know what I mean. And I just can't see it working. I don't think it will ever work. The fans will not take to it, and I don't agree. The future is the youngsters watching the game. I get that because they'll be watching the game for a long time. But you've got to respect the history and the heritage of what people like Sir Matt Busby and people like Bill Shankly have done for the game.
Yeah, and FIFA have come out, haven't they, and said that they condemn this competition and they may stop those players from competing at World Cups. OK, we'll go on to that in a second. Let's just have a look at what UEFA have said about this. If this were to happen, we wish to reiterate that we, UEFA, the English FA, the RFEF, FIGC, the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, but also FIFA and all of our member associations will remain united in our efforts to stop this cynical project, a project that is founded on the self-interest of a few clubs at a time when society needs solidarity more than ever. Don, you can see there, if you were a player right now and you were told you couldn't represent your country at a World Cup, would that make you change your thoughts at all on it?
No, I wouldn't want to play in it. I wouldn't want to play in it. I would not want to break away from the Premier League. I wouldn't. I've played in the Championship and I've been to playoff finals and I've won playoff finals. I've also lost them. I've been relegated. That's our game. That's the game. That's the game you fall in love with. You want an underdog like a Leicester to try and come up all the way through the divisions and win the league. That has to be the dream. If you're a conference team like Hartlepool United, you want to be back in League Two. You want to try and climb the divisions. Look what Sheffield United have done. They've been an amazing story coming from League Two into League One into Championship, finishing in the top 10 in the Premier League. They've got relegated this season because they haven't been good enough. But they'll have confidence, likes of Burnley, likes of Newcastle, likes of Watford trying to come up this season, likes of Norwich who've just been promoted. That is our game. Essentially, it's always been about the fans, and they'll have a massive say. And if fans say no to this, like they will do in Germany, there's no way this will ever get off the ground. Fans have to, and they will do, I'm confident in our fans, they will not want this Super League at all. And I'm confident with their help, and I'm confident in the Premier League, I'm confident this will not happen.